Hello everyone, today we're doing a book review on the book Dapper Dan, Made in Harlem. This is actually a really exciting book review for me because I had the amazing opportunity to actually meet Dapper Dan last summer 2021. I met him up at his shop up in Harlem on 125th Street. He wrote to Justin, Dapper Dan. That was super amazing. So I actually want to talk about why I actually picked this book up before I actually get into the review of it. I actually started reading this book because I moved to New York City summer of 2021. And before I moved, I actually looked up a bunch of fashion, up-and-coming fashion people. And in this video, they were talking about Dapper Dan was the inspiration to a lot of them. And if you know me well, you know I really like fashion. So I definitely had to get me a copy of this. Dapper Dan is a living legend. He has a iconic store on 125th Street in Harlem. He, in the 1980s and 1990s, pioneered his innovative fashion styles. He used various high-brand luxury logos such as Gucci, Fendi, etc. You can still see a lot of Dapper Dan's styles innovated in modern-day high luxury and streetwear. He actually now has a partnership with Gucci. And this memoir opens up with Daniel growing up in the end of the Harlem Renaissance in Harlem, New York City. He opens up talking about when he was a young man, he grew up in a penurious environment, often had holes in his clothing, wasn't much food on the table. In this term, we learned that he learned how to hustle at a very young age. As a young man, he got into gambling. He was really, really great at dice. He often used to play against a lot of the gangsters and drug dealers in his neighborhood. And he'd often take home a lot of the money. This was a great side hustle for him. And then later on in the book, we learn about Dapper Dan as a young man who actually found himself in prison. While he was in prison, he actually found a deep desire to actually read a lot of books. These books were very nourishing to him. He read books about spirituality, culture, diet. And in this time, Dap really had to sit with himself and recognize some things that he really wanted to change in his life. And, you know, this might have been a really low point in his life, but it was actually a very spiritual and necessary point that brought him to the next step. I think one word to describe this book is perseverance. Dapper Dan went through a lot of stuff throughout his whole entire life, but he truly persevered out of it. From growing up in a very poor situation, he learned ways to hustle. He looks back and may not have been the best ways, but it was definitely necessary to get him to the next steps. Even when he was a young man, he ended up in prison. In prison, he accepted his circumstance and found books to learn more about himself and more to take himself out of the situation. And even as a business owner, at one point his shop was the store that never closed. It was open 24 hours for several weeks, even years at one point. He had high-profile rappers, models, boxers, local gangsters come into his shop any hours of the day. And he was ready. He was there for his clients. He was a great man. He had all the designs ready for all of them. One thing that I really liked about learning more about his business, he actually used really high quality inks and leathers to recreate the designs that he was using. For example, when he was using the Gucci logos, he actually didn't just make counterfeit. He actually found the inks and got a whole team of tailors who actually recreate these looks so they looked authentic. And honestly, in a way, they were authentic. They were his own. It was so inspiring to hear that he wasn't just trying to make something just to recreate it and sell it and throw a profit. He was actually reinventing something, innovating it, and bringing it to a higher level that it was never really seen before. And we actually learn a lot about the controversy that he had doing that. These local brands weren't really doing anything other than bags, but Dan was actually not just doing bags at all. He was making jackets, he was making pants, he was making honestly everything with these designs, and they never seen that before, but it was just such authentic material that people thought it was real because he really made sure that all the details were really in there and that it was more than just a piece of fabric, it was art. And what I find so interesting is at one point Dapper Dan said that he didn't consider himself an artist. What he did was for the culture. But I disagree with him. I think what he did was art. In order for culture to exist, it starts with art. And in order for art to be real, it's at the roots. And thank you, Dap, for all that. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching my review on Dapper Dan, made in Harlem. Please get yourself a copy. Definitely get yourself a hard copy. You have this amazing design, got the plaid, beautiful writing in gold, Dap looking fly as hell as usual. And on the inside, got a nice little special pattern. You know what I actually really like about this pattern? It actually kind of looks like, it looks like D&D for Dapper Dan, but it also kind of looks like Gucci at the same time. That's pretty dope. I like that. All right, guys, get yourself a copy. Guys, thank you for watching this review. Please comment and share and let me know other books you want me to do a review on. Thank you.